And here we go. The Stronger Together podcast is steamrolling forward, really focusing on FETC. We've heard from some of our amazing presenters already. We had the executive director, Jen Wombold, on, and I am thrilled to welcome in my Massachusetts friend, Kim Zajac, who is, if you haven't paid attention, is catapulting to national attention with all the work that she's doing with so many different organizations and projects. So Kim, thanks for stopping in today and giving us a few minutes of your time.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on today, Matt. It's always a pleasure.
And for those, I've obviously keep a close eye on the work that you do because it's just inspiring. And of course, we have to cheer for our hometown team, Massachusetts Educators. But for those who haven't had a chance yet to catch up with all the work you're doing, share a little about your actual job and then some of the work you're doing nationally with the products you're with.
Sure. Yeah. I wear a lot of different hats, one for like every day of the week, sometimes two. But my day-to-day job is as a speech and language pathologist in the Norton Public Schools here in Massachusetts. And I function as the speech and language pathologist at Norton Middle School. And I service students with communication and learning differences in grades 6 through 8. And I love the work I do here. And I have great support from the administration and leadership. And I have the wonderful privilege of working with some of the most amazing educators and students in the state. I may be a little biased, but I think those are all true statements. And I support students really in finding their voice and their ability to engage and be included in every aspect of their learning experience at school. And a big part of that is leveraging technology in the spirit of access, inclusion, diversity, equity, and all the things that make a community a true and genuine place to be.
Yeah, and it's inspiring that you can bring that work where sometimes it seems like, oh, you're off into a smaller room and you're working with people, but you open the doors and you bring in some of these creative tools. And what was your kind of inspiration to start down that journey?
Well, to be quite honest with you, it was through my own children. My own children were students in Mansfield Public Schools, which many people will know this name when I put it out there, but Raina Friedman is both a mentor to me and she was a teacher to my own children. So Raina at the time was very heavily engaged and involved in leading MassQ, which was an ISTE affiliate. And so I became engaged there and began to run a special interest group and then eventually served on the board. Now that time has passed and I've made connections to other organizations like ISTE and ASCD, currently serving as a community leader for ISTE, which is exciting and has put me in conversations with like-minded professionals where we can collaborate and do even greater things to serve at scale. I've also, been able to engage with the Leverage Ed organization, which puts me again in communication with professionals really charged with serving others and promoting and advancing thinking around the accessibility, inclusion, and embracing diversity aspect of the educational journey. And the list could go on. I do, find myself in conversations, and it's all, through things related to my professional learning network. And that's how I actually got to meet Jen Wombold and what brings me to be connected to this event coming up in just a couple of weeks, FETC in Orlando.
Absolutely. And what I'm always impressed with the work you do is that you have a position within a district, but you're also a leader. And sometimes we get mixed up with roles versus leadership. And leadership is action. And your actions and your work, it just really oozes leadership. And so much so that you were invited to be part of the Inclusive Leaders Summit. And there's many other individuals there. I didn't take the whole screenshot of individuals there, but there you are, right in the mix with so many other national leaders. So that is going to be on Tuesday, January 14th at 8:30, but it's a good portion of that day. So tell us a little bit about that session and your work as part of it.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I was delighted to be invited and included in the pre-summit focus on inclusive leadership. Adam Feil and I will both be there representing on the panel, which they've called the Call to Action Conversation Panel. And basically, this summit is led by CAST, which, if you don't know, is the Center for Applied Special Technology. It's being led by them. And Mike Murata, who is co-author of the ISTE publication, Inclusive Learning 365, and Tech Strategies for every day of the year. And it's going to focus on really practical resources for attendees to kind of process and integrate in the spirit of systemic change, right? And incorporating the latest developments with respect to UDL. Just recently over the summer, UDL had a little bit of an update. We're now in version 3.0 of UDL. And so this summit will showcase and really demonstrate what those changes are and what they look like. There will be special focus on appreciating and addressing learner variability and making sure that we're supporting all learners across all contexts. That's a really important thing. I think also it's important to know that the attendees can look forward to sort of exploring some assistive technology and best practices, inclusive and otherwise, and also addressing some of the changes as well that will be coming forward, not only with the UDL guidelines, but there's also some changes in laws and mandates that we need to think about in terms of the ADA Title II. So a lot to be learned there from the experts on developing system-wide approaches to tailoring, systems and strategies to reach all learners.
That is amazing. And you would think that just one session alone would be like, wow, you have a busy week, but you go for the next 3 days. So let's dive into the Wednesday. You are one of the feature speakers and part of the inclusion track orientation. You have creative joy with AI and lighten the lift, and then inclusive innovation, learning in ethical and equitable AI solutions. So for those looking through with another Massachusetts educator, Andy Marcinek, there's a lot there. So for those looking through the agenda, take us through your Wednesday.
Sure. So to kick off the morning, Adam and I want to welcome all leaders and all attendees who are interested in our inclusive learning track to come and meet with us. We'll highlight some of the special events that are happening, allow some time for networking and getting to meet like-minded other colleagues and professionals, and really kick off the whole week on a high note where people can feel connection immediately and a sense of belonging in a community that's so supportive. We hope people will take from that some ideas of where they'd like to start their journey, as well as maybe some people that like to take it with. So that's kind of that track of orienting people and getting our feet on the ground. And then that will bring us right into the kickoff for my very first session at FETC, which I have to tell you, I'm so excited. This is my first FETC that I'll be attending. So lots happening.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yes. So it's very exciting, and I really can't wait. And so it made sense to kick it off with the creative joy with AI, lightening the lift. And this is a session, a concurrent session. It's about 45 minutes where I will be talking with attendees and showing attendees how they can really leverage tools that are AI focused to both lighten their load, but also increase the joy and the creativity in the classroom with the students they're working with. And so 2 tools that I'm going to be really pulling into focus because I do use with my own students and in my own work are Adobe, the Adobe Express, and Magic School AI. So I'm really hoping that this will help kind of unveil that connection for people and for the attendees to dip their toes in the water and experiment a little bit and get a feeling for what it is, to use these tools both for creative joy and making things a little bit less of a heavy lift for them.
That's amazing. And speaking of Magic School AI, I think I saw the list on the Tuesday evening pickleball event for you. Are you joining?
I will be there.
All right. I look forward to it. And I didn't know
100%.
this was the first FETC for you. I'm very excited for you to be that. I think I was there too when you had your first tech and learning event. So I'm thrilled that you're part of this world, the collaboration that is there. I think we're very fortunate to have you, and I think it's great to learn from you as well. And just when you think like, oh, okay, that's a lot of work, we go to Thursday and you have 2 more sessions. Speaking of Magic School AI, making the magic happen, and then creatively jackpot. That sounds great, with another friend of ours and a future guest as well as Raina, Kristen Brooks. So what does your Thursday look like?
Yes. So kicking off Thursday after wrapping up a very busy Wednesday, will be, starting again with magic happening. I'm really hoping to do a deeper dive in that first session where attendees will kind of really get a feel for how to use the different tools in Magic School, specifically for creating accessible and inclusive personal personalized learning experiences for the students that they work with and also for their own work. I also hope to go over some of the newer features that have been added to
Okay.
the Magic School portal, and that would include a really cool image generator that is powered by Adobe. It's an interesting little pairing there. And also, there's a new feature where you can build your own AI tool, which is really fun.
Really?
So if you have like a specific need, you can kind of create a tool that you could then, utilize in your own work. And also there's a student-facing side to their platform now as well that's getting some traction. So I'm looking forward to talking about those things. And also I'll add sharing some of the new updated PD that Magic School offers. One of the things that I really appreciate about Magic School is the way that they support the user. There's always a place to get an answer to a question. There are oodles of videos on the YouTube channel to watch, and step-by-step instructions on how to use the different tools. Even embedded in the website itself, you can get an exemplar. So lots to share there with people so they can go home and start to use Magic School in the work they do right away.
And in case that wasn't enough, we go to Friday and you have inclusive innovation. And I think this is one of the things that you bring a unique lens to the field, that you can talk about the work that you do with, the AI tools, with Adobe, but you also bring the practical, which I always appreciate as somebody who is a sitting, assistant superintendent, that individuals who I gravitate to are the ones who do the job. And you can bring that ethical lens into. Why is that so important in a technology conference?
Well, it's super important for many different reasons. I mean, as I was just saying, in relationship to the session that I'm doing on creative joy and using Magic School, the same is true with Adobe, the creativity jackpot that I'll do with Kristen Brooks. We're going to be talking about using these tools with students, right? And so many of the students are, they're younger. And so there's a lot at stake in terms of protecting them, right? Protecting their privacy and making sure that the tools that they're being used in classrooms are designed ethically and have safeguards and guardrails incorporated to make sure that the way that they're used are not going to lead to anything that would be unhelpful, right? So making sure that we educate, adult learners, teachers, users, on how not only the positive, creative, fun, and joyful side of using tech tools, but also thinking about keeping human safety at the center and making sure that we're being responsible with what we choose and how we choose to use it. So I'm looking forward to the support, too, of Andy Marcinick in that regard, because he really does a deep dive with that and the work he does in his position at school. So, I'm more in the classroom. I'm working directly with students, and Andy can speak more to the ethical and, the use and data privacy things.
That is very exciting. So you have a full dance floor of work to present, but you're also, as a first timer, going to be a learner. So is there something you're going there, like, these are some of the things that I'd like to learn and take away with me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always interested in making new connections. So there are a lot of people that I have on my list of who I've met, sort of online or in, on Twitter or on LinkedIn. I would like to meet some of these folks in person and have like real conversations. I want to speak to people who are the developers of some of the tools,
Yes.
especially those, that are doing work in the area of augmentative communication and elevating student voice, maybe for learners who are, in the margins, who maybe communicate through different means of communication, but whose voice deserves an equally weighted place at the table. So I'm interested in those kinds of conversations, and just really getting a full FETC experience. So if you have any tips, I'm here for them. And otherwise, I have, like you said, a full schedule.
Yes,
and,
you do.
And some good suggestions coming in from other folks as well.
So you'll be a first timer FETC, but you're not a first time presenter. And there will be a lot of first time presenters at FETC, and some coming right from the classroom. And I think your experience of being in a support role, but also a leader and coming through that lane, what would you say to the first time presenters as a tipper that helped you when you started to enter into this field?
I would say my words of advice or suggestion would be, you belong here. I want for them to know they belong in the room where they're presenting and that their presentation is very much needed. Designing any learning experience needs to be a co-design process, right? So nothing about us without us. So teachers belong in the conversation, being there as presenters and sharing their experience of what they do every day is important for everyone else, all the other stakeholders to hear, so that the design work behind the tools, behind the processes, behind the procedures, and all of that can be fully rounded with representation from every corner of the playing field.
Mhm.
I haven't been to FETC, so I don't know what element of student voice is incorporated there. I know in my presentations, I'll be bringing student examples and that sort of thing forward through me as the adult in the room. But I think that's another thing that presenters that are working in the classrooms or who have not presented at, in general, to try to bring that with you if you can, if there's a way to represent student voice and perspective.
That's wonderful. And I think for you, as somebody who I've seen just flourish over the last 2 years in the work that you're doing, sometimes people in our district and school level positions are like, I'm just focusing on my school, my room, in these doors. But how have you grown as an educator by having these national conversations, by going to, Tech and Learning, ISTE, now FETC for the first time? How has that helped you professionally?
It's helped me beyond measure. I can't even quantify and really fully describe it, but every conversation is an opportunity for hearing new perspectives and hearing something from another point of view that you couldn't even imagine because you are not that other person. So meeting people, talking with people, it gives me perspective. It gives me insights that push my thinking, that encourage me to think about what I'm doing or what I might be designing or suggesting from more than just a single or double channel, but from multiple channels. And it also provides me with the valuable resource of connection. So when I have a question, I have people I can go and send a text to or send an email to or bounce an idea off of. Currently in my district, we wrote a grant requesting support for pushing our augmentative communication training and resources forward district-wide. And
Wow.
so as a result of making a connection at a conference last June, I was able to partner with the speech and language pathologists here in my district. We wrote up the grant request, submitted it. We received the support of our district leadership. It was granted by the foundation in charge of the grants. And that person who I met at a conference is going to be the provider of the professional development and the coaching. So
Wow.
big shout out to Lauren Enders-Gonzalez, who is an AAC expert. That connection right there is tangible, heartfelt, real change that comes directly from the result of my finding myself in conversations in different places with people who I would not have otherwise met.
Well, that is awesome. And I think for those watching, make sure to remember that, because I think that is what these events are all about. And for sure, FETC, this will be my 7th that I've seen that and grown my professional learning network through meeting impactful people like yourself. So Kim, thank you for sharing some of the time with us. And then for those who are heading to FETC, make sure to go to that search feature and type in Zajac, and you'll see all the great things that we shared today. Check out those sessions. And if you can't be at the event, that's okay. Check out all of the work that Kim is doing. She shares everything out on social. It is such a great resource. So I'm very excited for you to be a FETC first timer.
Me too. I can't wait. I hope to see so many people that are listening to the podcast actually there in Orlando. Who knows? Maybe we'll, be able to have a conversation, or even if it's just a ride in an elevator to have a quick chat when we're going from one place to another space. I welcome it all. As we were just saying, the more we can do together, the more we collaborate, the better things we can do in classrooms to serve the students that are in front of us. If anyone wants to connect with me before, during, or after, Linktree is probably the best way to know how to reach me in all the different ways. So it's just, it's Linktree and then a / Kim Zajac.
Wonderful. So make sure to take her up on that. So Kim, I look forward to seeing you in Orlando and seeing the great work that you do and seeing your pickleball skills on Tuesday night, of course.
Well, I hope I don't disappoint. I'm a little new to that scene, but I'm going to give it my best.
It's all about having fun. So thank you for sharing your time. And for those of you who are watching, continue to tune in. We have 15 pre-interviews, and then we'll be podcasting live for 2 straight days at FETC in Orlando to share all of the wonderful work from these speakers as well. So Kim, have a great couple days here, and then before you know it, we'll be heading off to FETC.
Sounds great. See you there,
We'll see
Matt.
you then. Bye.
Bye.